guys. Um, wow, it's already another Monday. I am back and I've got some things to share. I will say that I don't know if today's going to be easy. So if you're like I don't know if you're sensitive today, like feelings wise, not that I'm going to say anything hard. I probably won't make this. I probably won't make it through it without crying. Um, That's for sure. So if you don't want to hear that today, maybe skip this one. But we've been talking about the 19 hard things that I do to be successful. And um, wow. Um, Number 4 is what we're on. So I'm going to just kind of recap. Okay. I make the call I'm afraid to make is number 1. I get up earlier than I want to get up is number 2. Number 3 is I give more than I get in return right away. And now we're on number 4. I care more about others than they care about me. Yeah. That's such a hard one because it's true. Because the reality is that people don't think about you near as much as you think they do, right? Like you think, oh, what are these people going to think if I put this out there, or if I post this on my social media? And the thing is, the reality is, less people see it than you think, and people are so caught up in their own daily lives. So I care more about others than they care about me. Let's let's touch on that a little bit. That kind of goes in line with our current events happening in our home right now. So my oldest son, Brighton, is 27 today. It's his birthday, and I don't get to see him today. He's going through some stuff. Um and I don't even look, I don't claim to be a perfect parent. I don't claim that I did it all perfectly. I don't claim that I knew what the hell I was doing raising a kid at 21 years old. But I do know that I did the best I could with the wisdom that I had. I made the best choices for him that I thought were best for him. And I never, ever, ever gave up on him. Um, so anyway, I'm the enemy right now. Danny and I are the enemy right now. And it's his birthday. And even though I squeezed him out of my vagina 27 years ago today, I don't get to spend the day with him, but my mom is with him and his brothers are with him, and they're making his favorite cake that I usually make him. And that is gut wrenching. Like I've just wanted to vomit all day. And I get it, right? I mean, I went through some of the same stuff, but this goes right in line with I care about others more than they care about me. Um I don't know. I'm trying not to have a pity party, but this is hard and this sucks. And I think that this part of parenting is like trying to, not that I'm trying to parent an adult at this point, but just, I don't know, just the things that they go through, the things that we all go through. I mean, I don't know if there was ever a point in time in my life where I didn't speak to my mom on my birthday because I'm just such a family person. And I don't hang on to things long term. I mean, I carry some things around with me, but I'm pretty forgiving, and I'm in the forgiving department. Danny would say that's one of my biggest faults is my ability to forgive and let go. But I just have a loyalty. And I don't know if this is something that's going to change. I don't know if this is something that he's going to get past or not, because he does hold grudges and he holds them for a very long time. And the thing that the suckiest part is the things that he's angry about, there's nothing I can fix. I cannot go backwards in time and change anything or fix anything. I cannot do any more than apologize for the mistakes that I made as a parent and move forward, right? You can't just live in the past. But man, it is a punishment for sure, and he knows it, and he's punishing me on purpose, um, to not talk to me or see me on his birthday. So I don't know. Maybe I'll cry myself to sleep tonight. And I'm gonna touch on this for just a minute, and then we'll get into the 19 hard things because it's still part of it. But all my Facebook memories came up today, and I'm thinking, look at all these parties. Look at all this family around. Look at his smiles. Look at, one time I got like it for his like, I don't know, 25th birthday, I got him Spider-Man masks, and we were all wearing Spider-Man masks in the pictures, like just stupid, silly stuff. But like for the past 15 years, there's pictures on Facebook of him smiling and laughing and blowing out his candles and surrounded by love and family, and I try to do all the right things. And I guess as parents, we all do that, right? We all try to do the right things, and sometimes it's just not enough. I go through the same thing with my mom, but I miss my kid. My kids are my life. My kids are my whole world. And I feel like a piece of me is missing because I have a kid that I can't, that is not tangible to me right now, that I can't touch and hug and love and all the things. And so it's hard, like going back through the memories and stuff, and, you know, and seeing all the good times and all the things that we've done together for his birthday, but yet he thinks he's had the worst life on the planet. I don't get it. And I probably never will. So if you guys could just do me a favor and just say a prayer that he comes back to me. Say a prayer that he finds a relationship with Jesus, and that's what he needs more than anything. Or maybe say a prayer for someone to come into his life that leads him that way. That's what I pray for the most. For all of our kids, for them to have a relationship with Jesus without it being something that was so, like, for me to come knocking on that door, right? It took a trauma. It took a traumatic event. My dog getting hit by a truck in front of me. If you haven't listened to that podcast, you better get some tissues because it's one of the beginning ones. But I hope nothing traumatic happens to them like that, to where they go knocking on his door, because he has to let them in. And I was talking to a friend about this today too, and she painted a picture about, there's no, a picture of Jesus on one side of the door and you on the other, and there's no doorknob on his side. It's the only doorknobs on our side. We have to open it up to let that relationship cultivate. So that's what I'm hoping for all of my children, right? Um so anyway, sorry that was kind of tough. Um Sorry, I'm just kind of in myself for a moment. don't know. If anybody has any wisdom on this hard parenting shit, let me know. Because I don't like this part at all. I would rather have terrible twos and spanking that little diaper than this for sure. Because this is way harder. But you know, at the end of the day, we all just want to be loved. And I heard a saying a long time ago that went like this. It says, just because someone doesn't love you the way you want them to doesn't mean that they don't love you with all they have. And I think about that like with my dad and stuff all the time. I got to give him serious kudos though. Like since Nana passed away, he hasn't missed like one day of telling me, of texting me good morning. That's the closest my dad and I have been in my whole life. And I guess maybe our kids always come back to us, and I'll always be here, right? With open arms. I just hope he does. Okay, I have to stop crying. Sorry if I made you cry. I knew this was going to be emotional. It's why I didn't really put any makeup on, like just a little bit. Um, so I care more about others than they care about me. Let's talk about that in perspective of like relationships and business. Um, Here's something that blows my mind with the clients that I have. Like and that's the thing too, is like I get it. Like you spend your day running 90 to nothing, right? But if you spend several $100s on a product and you have someone that says that they're going to coach you and they're doing that and you don't respond, like I think that's an example of that. I care more about others than they care about themselves. I care more about their journeys and what's happening with them because I want to be able to help them because I know how much I struggled, right? And if I'm struggling, most people are probably struggling as well. So how do you do that? You know, like and even for like my team members, oh my gosh, the potential of the people on my team is mind-blowing. But they don't see it. They don't see it. You give them opportunity, they cut themselves down immediately before they even take the opportunity, right? And if I didn't care about them, I wouldn't try to push them out of their comfort zone. I wouldn't reach out and ask how they're doing. And that's the thing too with me is like I'm always that person that sends a message that says, you know, I love you, or I'm checking on you, or haven't heard from you in a little bit. You know, how are you? Rarely do I get those messages, but I actually got one today and it was pretty cool. Uh, Braden actually sent me a message that said, hey, just, you know, how are you today? You know, and, and that was pretty sweet. That was actually really sweet. So I guess it's hard because when you're always that person that reaches out and there's no response, or you're with people that don't initiate that, how do you function like that? Like how do you deal with that? How do you just say it's okay? How do you not worry about it? Right? How do you keep going? So that's another thing, especially with my team. You know, if someone doesn't respond to them the second or third time, they just give up because they care more about the other person than that other person cares to respond to them, right? But what we have to realize is it's not personal. And everybody takes so much personally that in business we have to realize that it's not personal. I mean, I get it. You know, I mean, I reached out to one of my best friends that I haven't heard from in forever, and I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happened to our friendship, but you don't return my calls, you don't pick up the phone, none of that stuff. And, she's just like, well, I don't know what somebody's told you, but none of that's true. And I'm like, well, I hear your words, but I'm listening for your actions, you know? Because no one's telling me anything. Your actions are telling me everything I need to know. And so I'm the one that's constantly reaching out, reaching out, reaching out when I'm never even considered or thought of. I don't know. Does that make me selfish to want to keep relationships alive? I mean, this isn't even, I don't even see, she's not even on Facebook. So I have no idea what's going on in her life. And that's hard, especially when you've been friends for like, holy God, how long have we been friends? 35, 45, like 30 something, almost 40 years friends. Yeah, that's a long time to be friends. So how does that hit you? Like what type of person are you? Are you the person that reaches out to your friends and checks on them? Or are you the person that gets reached out to, right? And I think we just have to like put it into perspective. Um, I also want to mention that David John Kay is the one that this list came from, the 19 hard things I do to be successful. But it goes right along with last week. I give more than I get in return right away. I mean, that's for sure. And you're going to care about other people and their journeys, and especially with what we do, right? In the weight loss and wellness industry. I mean, people are struggling, you know, people are struggling really bad. And I mean, the freaking epidemic of overweight people right now is ungodly. And when you see someone like that and you care so much because you know you have something that can help them, that can change their lives, that can save them, but they don't care to hear from you. And that all boils down to they're not ready. And maybe that's what it boils down to for everything, right? But what if, I'm going to flip the script a little bit. What if you haven't, in a business sense or even in a friendship sense, what if you haven't made yourself valuable to that person? In business, they say, stop trying to sell to people. Make your relationship that with that person invaluable. Provide something for them that they're not getting elsewhere. And then they'll want to do what you're doing. Does that work in all ways? I don't know. I feel like that if Danny were the one sitting here, he would say, you care about others more than you care about me. I think that would be something he could say. Um, just because I prioritize our business, right? And that gets a lot of attention. There's a lot of people that get a lot more attention than my husband. And it's something that I am working on daily. Um, but also, I kind of figured out through talking with Janelle over through some things that I drown myself in my work so that I don't have to focus on that other stuff too, right? That's how that goes. So I don't know. I care more about others than they care about me. Which side of the fence are you on that one? Speaking of my husband and Janelle, my amazing life coach, Awakenings Life Coaching, if you need to find her and get her help on Facebook. She's actually based out of Australia. And She's my fairy godmother. She's the yin to my yang. She's she's great. I can't wait to talk to her tomorrow and work on some more stuff. um, but speaking of them, so Janelle and I were talking a few weeks ago, and there's in the very beginning of our conversation, I have to just kind of ground my feet, take a deep breath, and ground myself and just relax, right? And put myself into just a space where I forget about everything else and I'm just focused on me. I'm not very good at that. As a matter of fact, in the beginning, I said to her, can we speed this up? Can we hurry this up? Because you're losing me within like 2 minutes into this. My brain there's like 2,987 internet tabs open at all times. And you've already lost me, right? So she started talking about, putting my feet in the sand and feeling the sand in my toes and the warmth of the sand and hearing the waves in the ocean because, I'm an ocean girl. I'm totally a beach girl. And uh, and I thought to myself, and I ended up saying it to her in that session. I said, "How cool would it be if I got a little box and put some sand in it. So when we have our meetings, I can, or anytime I want to, I can literally come sit in my office and ground my feet and ground myself and just like pause, right? Maybe I can even turn on some ocean sounds. I mean, I've taken so much video of the ocean. And that's another thing Janelle and I do is like wherever we go in the country, we both love the ocean. We both love the beach. So wherever I go in the country, wherever she goes in Australia, we get videos of different beaches and send it to each other. So like she got a lot of my New Hampshire beach last couple of weeks ago. But anyway, totally squirreled. So putting my feet in a box of sand. Well, first and foremost, that would make a mess. Unless, I don't know if you know the trick about putting baby powder all over your feet and then the sand won't stick to your feet. My friend Becky taught me that trick, and that's like one of the best tricks ever, even though I forget to take baby powder with me all the time. But I could do that. I could put baby powder on my feet, and it would just be a process because I have hardwood floors, so I would end up with sand everywhere. I mean, it would be inevitable that I would be clumsy and knock it over and spill it, and it would be a mess, right? That's totally possible. The only thing is, I would have to bring home like a gallon bucket or like one of those big 3 gallon buckets of sand from like Alabama because that's the sugar white sand that I want. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get home with a bucket of that this summer. And Danny can make me a little box. I don't know. There's ideas, right? There's lots of ideas floating around my head about what I could do about that. But the interesting thing was Danny did not know that Janelle and I had had that conversation. And so for Valentine's Day, there was a box that showed up a few days before, and he ended up giving it to me Valentine's night after we got home from dinner with Holly and Eric and after the jail and everything. And it was this little box and it said beach break on the front of it, right? And it had this little box, right, with an umbrella and a chair and some sand, like all miniature stuff, like little bitty miniature stuff. Umbrella, sand, a little rake, a little shovel, a bucket, some beautiful white sand, and some shells. And he wrote a note and he says, I know I can't take you there all the time, but maybe this will just help remind you, and it was one of the pure joy that came out of me, like taking this stuff out of this box and like creating my own little beach chair setup and where I wanted the shells. I mean, this is probably literally like 4x4, right? It's maybe 5x5. It's not huge. But he said he found it on Amazon. He saw it on someone's desk when he was traveling in Sarasota, Florida, and thought it was really cute. And that, my friends, that is how you make me happy. Like I don't have to have expensive things. It's the little things like that just elate me. Now I need to find Oh, shit. I just thought of something awesome. I need to find a miniature like pelican because you know I love pelicans, right? So if I could find a miniature pelican to like sit in the chair, ha, that would be perfect. That would be perfect. And I even talked to Gage about like using some like blue resin paint and like pouring some resin into it that was blue so it looked like the water was coming up on the sand. I don't know, there's some different things that I'm thinking about doing with this just to kind of make it a little more my own. Um, but as it stands now, it sits over on the little table. Oh, and it's something I'll definitely have to make sure I pick up and put up high uh, for when little people are over. But I wish I had somewhere to put it on my desk, and I may find a spot. I may work on that after this today and find a spot. So, anyway, just a really cool gift. If you know someone that loves the beach, go check that out. My husband is one of the most thoughtful human beings pretty much on a regular basis. I'm a pretty lucky girl. So, anyway, hopefully I haven't bored you to pieces. And I haven't made you cry too much on your way home from work or on your way to work. But, you know, it's hard when you're put in that position that you care more about others than they care about me. Um, I put so much into my relationships and my friendship, and the hardest lesson that I've had to learn is that not everybody puts everything into things like I do. And that's okay. That's who they are, right? And you have to love people where they're at. God, that was one of the hardest things. I'm like, look at you. You have so much potential. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you, why aren't you working this every day? How come you're not, checking your stuff and blah, 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 blah? Because they're not me. You know, maybe I need to find a hobby. Oh, if I lived by the beach, I would have a hobby on the beach all the time, but I'd be working from the beach anyway. It's just what I do, right? But it's also because I love what I do. And I think that also has to do with me caring more about others than they care about me. It's because they don't understand how much I love this. They don't understand how passionate I am because of what Xyngular did to save my life and change my life. And, my coaches that were there for me in the beginning, I mean, it's incredible. So, is it a bad thing that I care more about others than they care about me? Maybe not. Maybe it's not a bad thing at all. Maybe I need to flip the script even for myself. But I'm going to care about others more than they care about me because that is part of what I am and what I do to be successful. I have to care about them more. I have to follow up with them. I have to check on them. Otherwise, they don't stick around, right? So, what do you want for yourself? And this can go for any business. If you're in the hairdressing profession or the, retail or, whatever as a business owner, you have to care more about your people than they care about you. That's just how it goes. So, anyway, I hope this was helpful. This is a, this was a pretty hard one for me. Uh, I definitely said my prayers beforehand. And I want you guys to know I'm grateful for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time. Please share this if it touched you. It doesn't take much to share. It doesn't take much to hit the subscribe button. Like, let me know that let me know that you care. That would be awesome sauce. Leave some comments. Talk about it. Let's talk about, do you care more about certain things or others than they care about you? And are you willing to care more to be successful? That's another question. So, anyway, it is February. We are coming into March. We're coming into some of my favorite seasons of spring and summer. And I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that you keep our family in your prayers always, and we appreciate you so much. Peace out, homies. See y'all later.